All right, bruh fans, based on what happened with Ruthless, I don't think I'll be using the bruh theme song in my videos, so to avoid copyright, yeah, I'm not going to do it. However, I'd recommend getting BET Plus because the theme song itself definitely gave me Martin vibes. It really did. So, how's the show? If you've seen any of my posts on social media in the past 24 hours, you know I actually really love bruh. And this video is going to talk about all three episodes. Yes, I mean, the episodes were like 21 to 23 minutes each. So it would be kind of redundant to do three separate videos. They go all together. Similar to Ruthless, however, we don't get next time on bruh. The episode pretty much just ends. So no trailer breakdowns. I'll probably just be doing episode reviews. I haven't really decided yet what I'm going to do. Like if I'll just do a weekly review for each episode like I do with Ruthless and everything else. Or if I'll wait until a couple episodes get uploaded to BET Plus and then I'll review them then, like 2 or 3 at a time. But considering that with the pains I reviewed it each week, I think I'll be doing the same for bruh. But basically, these 3 episodes flowed right together. Let me just kind of give you a brief overview of my thoughts on the series so far. I like the fact that it's short. I mean, remember, Sisters got to the point, and this is like episodes 5 through 11. Good grief. Anybody else getting more spam calls ever since more states are lightening up on the pandemic? Yeah, I'm getting a lot more. Basically, Sisters got to the point where I felt like, okay, I feel like the show is struggling to fill in that 40 to 42 minute time frame. It could definitely work as a condensed series where each episode is 30 minutes, aka 20 to 22 minutes, with commercials, of course. Bruh does a great job of spending time on each of the 4 guys, keeping their stories going, where some episodes, are definitely going to be more focused on one particular bruh than the other, but each person gets time for their story to move forward. So I would say that John I feel like John's story got the most shine in the first 3 episodes. I feel like Mike had the least. Tom's storyline had around the same time frame as Mike, and then Bill really didn't get his story going until episode 3, even though we got a chunk of it in episode 2 and a foreshadowing in episode 1. Basically, John is I just call him like the dreamer, like the restaurant owner. He owns A&J Sandwiches, Alice being his mother, John being the J, and sandwiches being what they make at their shop. Pretty much he got the restaurant after his boys invested $200,000 in order to get the restaurant going. And there's a club that's shutting down called Level 28. He wants his boys to help him out by investing in Level 28. He can run it, get rich quick. They don't want to do it. So after being, ridiculed by his friends and mom, he decides to get the money from his cousin Leon, who deals drugs. $500,000. That's more than enough money to pay off the money he owes his bros and his mom, but also pay for Level 28. His cousin's like, you know what, man? Here's what we're going to do. Once you pay me the $500,000 back, then the earnings from Level 28, it'll be 50-50. 50 for you, 50 for me. He doesn't know if he's certain he should do it because it's drug money, but then he decides to take the money anyway. He pays back his boys at the end of episode 2. Tom follows him in episode 3 to figure out where he got the money from, and he tells him it was from his cousin Leon. His mom scolds him, telling him to move out. So basically, his mom doesn't even accept the $15,000 that he owed her. And with that, he's like, fine, I'm going to get my own apartment. I'm going to make it on my own. So Tom's story is basically, we got Mike, who's the lawyer, Tom, who is the doctor, and Bill, who's the architect. Tom's storyline is pretty much at his job in the hospital. There's a nurse, I believe a subordinate, someone who works under him, of course. They actually got drunk, and at her place, they had sex together, where Tom is like, look, it was a one-time thing. That's it. I apologize. We're both drunk. Valerie seems a bit crazed, stalkerish. It's like every time they're in a scene together, she's like, I think the first scene is when an older woman's in the hospital room with them, and her young daughter is there, and she pretty much, gives the phone number to Tom, and Valerie gets jealous, And then she talks about in another scene about how, oh yeah, this one little girl who had the blue ribbons in her hair, she looks like how our kid could look. And then she tells Tom, like, look, I can't work around you anymore. You need to transfer. Tom doesn't want to do it. And then she's like, fine, I'm going to talk to the chief of staff. And he's like, fine, do what you got to do. Turns out that Mike had told Tom to go for it because, he was attracted to her. However, Bill was saying, hey, man, you shouldn't be messing around with coworkers. So basically, Tom's storyline is the fact that Valerie is going to make things even more difficult at the job than it should be because of their one-night fling, which to her was a special night, and she seems a bit obsessed with him, whereas Tom felt it was a one-night thing and it means nothing. So that's his biggest challenge of the series, dealing with a hit and a quit it with one of his coworkers. But he definitely is the sensitive one of the group and tries to see exactly what's up with John. Where'd he get all this money from? 1 minute you're broke, the next minute you got money that you're paying us back, and it doesn't explain where you got it from. Bill, and at the end of episode 1, is mentioned that, hey, we haven't seen your girlfriend in months. What's going on? Come to find out, she's out of town for mom. But then in episode 2, he's at the restaurant again, runs into one of his, I think a friend, Peter from college. And Regina is his ex, who he kicked to the curb because apparently she was smothering him, and now finds out that she's getting married next month. So in episode 3, he calls her up, asks if they can meet at his place, and they do, because to him, she's the one that got away, even though, he was the one that pushed her away. And she's pretty much happy now because of the fact that Bill just didn't appreciate her when he had her, because they were together for 3 years, and at the end of the episode they kiss, and that's the cliffhanger. So there's no telling what's going to happen now. Does Regina feel the same way? Is she just going to dismiss Bill and get married to Peter regardless? And the age-old tale of, well, it's like when you break up with somebody and you can't stand the fact that they're happy with somebody else. That's pretty much Bill's storyline right now. And then going to Mike the lawyer, he's with a side piece, I guess you could say, named Pam, but whether or not she's a side piece, I don't know. I mean, whether or not she knows she's a side piece is, I don't think so. But in any case, her big thing is she wants to redecorate Mike's loft to make it look like, look, you're a lawyer. You need to make it look like you're a lawyer. So not only does he give her his credit card and the PIN number, but he's like, okay, $25,000. And then she ups it to $100 with a smile, a very sexy smile, I'll add. And yeah, so with $100,000 and access to a minimum, remember, a minimum of $100,000 according to her, gives her full range to redecorate the place. So I just joke to myself, like, that's how men we're like that. We will give a woman access to our finances, but I bet for damn sure Pam doesn't have the password to Mike's phone. So I'm just laughing to myself about that. And in episode 2, oh yes, this will lead to its own video, but Andrea Barnes, aka Andy from Sisters, a lawyer in the divorce department, if you will, comes over to Mike's place as a workspace temporarily because they're working on a case together. And Mike, gets shot down when he asks her for drinks. And she leaves just as Tom enters. And again, that's his own video. It's like, wait, is Sisters connected to bruh? Technically, and yes. Obviously, given the fact that, Andy still has a job, this is before the events of the finale of Sisters, when, Andy not only had lost her job, but is pretty much broke and has lost her place. I will save this conversation for the crossover video, if you will, but I will say this. It seems to me that this is an Andy before the events of Sisters, because when Mike asked her, I was like, oh, you're married? No, I'm very committed. I'm thinking this is probably in reference to Gary. So this could be during the first couple of months the two were actually together, because I believe during the early episodes of Sisters, Andy was like, yeah, me and Gary have been together for 4 months. And that's when he's like, hey, give me 4 months and I'll leave my wife. But then he says he needs 6. So basically, I would say this is during the time that Gary and Andy were first together. So I would say, again, this is around the time she had first got her job under Billamy at the law firm. And so we know that Mike works there as well. Does this mean Mike might show up in season 2 of Sisters? Does this mean Andy might show up again during Bruh? I don't know, because basically in episode 3, Mike made it clear that he's gonna get with her at some point. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, that's his own video. Let's see here. Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. John wants the money for level 28, gets shot down by his friends, gets the money from Leon. He's pretty much going to do his own thing. Mike, oh my God, these freaking calls. Sorry about that. Look, sorry. Next time I record, I'm going to cut the phone off. I apologize. Basically, Mike, his thing, he messes around with a lot of women. He's just trying to bang. And he makes good money as a lawyer. Tom, dealing with trouble in the workplace. I mean, maybe Mike ought to take a page from Tom. Like, look, man, I messed around with a coworker. Now I got a stalker chick. You might not want to mess around with somebody at the law firm. And then you have Bill, who's dealing with the one that got away. And shout out to Miss Alice, because she's the MVP. She brought the laughs. She brought the comedic value at the show. She's dirty. I mean, the fact that this is on BET Plus, yeah, we had a nudity scene in episode 1 with Pam. I didn't see anything because, I was reading my Bible as I was. No, I'm lying. I'm sorry. Basically, a lot of F-bombs, middle finger. Yeah, this is BET Plus. This ain't your normal BET, and we know BET ain't clean 100% on its own. But yeah, it's uncensored. Let me put it this way. But this is a variation of this talented actor that I've never seen before, and Tyler Perry plays in movies, and I love it. I think what really made Bruh, and yeah, this is pretty much the end of the review. I did like the football game scene with the guys just sitting down talking. I feel like maybe this show pulled me in so quickly because, well, I'm a guy, so I can understand where these fellas are coming from. I know guys like this from my friend group, guys from college, guys, even from, back in school, that remind me of the characters. Like for me, I can relate to John, and check out my video where I think the topic of the video or the title was, should John's friends have invested in level 28 or whatever I titled the episode. But basically I talk about how I relate to John with people putting you down because you have your own dreams and whatnot. I relate to Tom being the understanding person of the group, and then his situation, I can relate to Bill because I don't date and I knew, like, Jeremy, you are self-employed. This is like when I was working at the call center. I have a personal code where I don't date coworkers. It just leads to drama. And then when it comes to Bill, yeah, it sucks to let go sometimes. Like the one that got away. Well, usually because they're the ones who leave, and I don't dump them because I never do. I pretty much get rejected. But yeah, but during the first 3 minutes of episode 1, I was cringing because I related to John getting shot down by that one girl he was trying to ask out, and then his mom comes in like, "Boy, you make sandwiches." Like, oh. So yeah, I relate to all the kids. Mike, I don't know if I relate to Mike much because I've never been like the suave ladies man or the asshole of the group. But at the same time, no, I don't think I relate to Mike. He's one of my favorites though. I don't feel like I relate to him though. But then again, this is the first 3 episodes. As the show goes on, I think maybe he might display character traits I can relate to. But let me just say, it is great to see, well, 3 out of 4 successful black men. We have a doctor, an architect, and a lawyer. And well, not to throw shade at John, he is a business owner. He has a restaurant, so there's that. And it isn't a failure. It's just not making the fast money he thought it would be making when his boys invested in it with him. Or, well, technically, since he owes them like $200,000, they probably did exactly what he wanted them to do with level 28. Hey, you all give me the money and then I'll flip it. But then it didn't work. So I do like the fact that we have 4 strong black lead characters. Can't leave out the wonderful ladies. Miss Alice is doing her thing. I just feel like she's going to bring a mixture of comedic but also wholesome value to her dialogue. Like some of the scenes, like, I know there are some characters in other Tyler Perry shows that I feel like, man, it's like their comedy, their jokes aren't landing. But with Miss Alice, I feel like, it's okay if I just say Miss Alice. That's why I refer to her as, because the way she acts reminds me of my mom. My mom isn't as wild, of course, but just the way she says things and whatnot, it just reminds me of that. Also the fact that, well, no, we didn't see much of Pam. We saw her in episode 1. Regina, we saw in a couple scenes. I feel like we're going to get more from her in episode 4 because we're going to pick up where we left off there. Andy, I hope we see more of her. I hope we see her. I'm not saying that we have to have her in every episode, but again, Mike doesn't seem to be done with her, and who knows, we might actually see some sister characters. Like, let's say there's a scene that takes place at the law firm, we could see them work, like crossing paths in the hallway or whatever. You never know. You never know. Let's see here. Trying to make sure I covered everything. For the most part, yeah, this is a great show. I love the dynamic between the four guys. I think they blend together well. They bounce off each other. The dialogue seems natural. Yeah, some lines might seem a bit corny, but at the same time, I laugh because I see some of the guys I know fitting into those character molds. So I think the show is off to a strong start. Episode 1 was called The Pilot. Episode 2, My Own 2 Feet. And episode 3 was chapter 7. So I give this show, I'm nervous to do this because I remember when Sisters came on, I said the first 3 episodes are great. And then it kind of went a little downhill, but then it picked up heavily during that second half. It got really good. I think that I'll score these episodes together, and collectively, I will give the show a 9 out of 10. I have watched all 3 episodes at least 3 times. I am not lying. I watched them twice yesterday, and I watched all 3 this morning. So, bruh gets 2 thumbs up for me. 9 out of 10 for all 3 episodes. I highly recommend it. Seriously, get BET Plus. Watch it. You'll love it. Trust me. I mean, like I said, each episode is a little over 20 minutes. So altogether, that's a little over an hour's worth of content. And it's well worth it. I think these characters will shine more as the series goes on. And it's not really about I mean, honestly, looking at the show so far, it seems like the only air quotation drama is going to be coming from John and the shit he's gotten into with drug money. And then Tom and his situation at work. Mike is just like the fun guy of the group. Bill's dealing with the regret of pushing away someone he didn't realize he fully had feelings for until he knew she was getting married. Remember, he was in the restaurant hiding from his ex, who we just saw out in the in like the hallway of whatever mall or whatever they were in. And then it wasn't until he found out she was getting married that's like, oh my God, I need to get her back. So yeah. That's how it is sometimes. But make sure you let me know what you thought of bruh in the comment section below. Do you want me to review this show each week? Honestly, I am more than happy to. Like the video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check me out on social media. Links to all that good stuff is in the description below. We are less than 600 people away from 20,000 followers on Instagram, so make sure you go follow me there. Shout out to the patrons over on Patreon, and if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on either Cash App or PayPal. So with that being said, thanks so much for tuning in, and I will catch you all in the next video.